We've got a fabulous range of Gibson acoustics, top of the range acoustics here. But what about the starter range and the budget range? What kind of price range do we go from here to some of these wonderful guitars here?
Okay, well, one of the things we're really concerned about here is that if you walk in, we will have a guitar for you. If you want to spend 50 quid, if you want to spend 20 grand, we will have a guitar that you like. So we're really concerned that we're not viewed as an elitist shop, although we have a lot of good guitars. So steel string guitars, we're going to start at £80. We're going to go up to, at the moment, probably about £6,000 or £7,000. The majority of the stock we sell is between £500 and £2,000. That's where the big sales are. But having said that, there's a guitar we sell at 159 quid. Aria built it for us. It's like an exclusive instrument. Sells like hotcakes. Wonderful, wonderful instrument. We're main agents for Tanglewood. They sell very well in the mid-range. We've just had these guitars in from the Czech Republic, Furch guitars, mind-blowing guitars. And then Gibson started at about 1,200 and sky's the limit.
And of course the Epiphone range of guitars, the sister company to Gibson, that over the years have developed more and more copies, if you like, of the more expensive Gibson brands, which I think probably helps to really encourage people to move from starting off in a much cheaper model, and then eventually, hopefully, I guess in their later on in life, being able to afford the real deal, which we see behind us.
Gibson are very switched on to brand loyalty. So they're making lots of guitars that are accessible to people who don't want to spend a fortune, and that goes for acoustics and electrics. You can now buy a Gibson acoustic. I think there's a new model coming under £1,000. You can buy a Gibson electric made in Nashville in the USA for 500 quid. That's pretty damn good.
You're obviously a player yourself, and could you tell us about the guitars you own, and what about the guitar that if the shop burnt down, which one would you save?
Okay. Well, the guitars I own, I don't own anything really special. I'm more interested in interesting guitars. So I have an old Gibson 330 that I love. I do have an old Strat, but they're not sort of museum pieces. They're just guitars I've always really loved. I've got some nice acoustics. I've got a Martin acoustic and a Gibson acoustic. In terms of the guitar I'd save, it would be my 16th birthday present, my Gibson SG Junior.
And apart from the SG, your favourite SG, what other guitars do you have?
I've got a nice old Epiphone jazz guitar from the 30s. I've got a Gibson 330, that's pretty special. And I've got a couple of nice acoustics, but I don't have any sort of museum pieces or anything tucked away. I like interesting guitars rather than fabulously expensive guitars.
There must be a lot of famous artists, guitar players coming through the store all the time. Any anecdotes or stories you can think of going back over the years?
So when it comes to artists, I'm very lucky because these guys are my customers, so it's rather nice. And I don't get too starstruck, but there was one time I was on the phone in the office and someone buzzed me down. They said, "There's a guy up here who wants to buy a guitar lead." And I said, "Sell him a guitar lead." And they said, "No, I think you better come up." And I walked upstairs and Chuck Berry was standing at the counter. And that, I was kind of, whoa! That's like Elvis standing at the counter for me. Chuck Berry was standing at the counter. Love that.